Now, the South African Revenue Service has been ordered to hand over former President Jacob Zuma's tax records to amaBhungane and the Financial Mail within 10 days. The media houses lodged a joint application back in November of 2019 based on claims in a book by investigative journalist Jacques Pauw. In The President's Keepers, Pauw claims that Zuma had not submitted his returns for years and owed millions in unpaid taxes. Now, the High Court in Pretoria yesterday granted the application to access Zuma's records for 2010 to 2018. SARS unsuccessfully argued for taxpayers' confidentiality, the court ruling that the public interest in this case trumped the right to privacy. Zuma himself did not take part in that hearing. For reaction to this, we're joined now by the Jacob Zuma Foundation's spokesperson, Mzwanele Manyi. Mr. Manyi, thanks very much indeed for your time. Perhaps as a start, the reasons behind the former president himself not taking part in the application that was ruled on yesterday.
Good morning, Michelle, and good morning to your viewership. Yeah, look, I think President Zuma took the view, obviously, that SARS started competently won its case at the Constitutional Court, that it had all the right arguments. So therefore, there was no reason to be there, because SARS has all the reasons, all the rationale why things should be made secret, as it were. So we accepted the court ruling, which dismissed Mkhwebane's, Public Protector Mkhwebane's bid to have tax records made public. You must remember that even when President Zuma had offered to make these tax records available to Advocate Mkhwebane, SARS actually objected to that. They went to the Constitutional Court to say, no, these matters are very private matters and so on. So, and the Constitutional Court accepted the argument. We were very shocked actually yesterday when a High Court basically overturns a Constitutional Court decision effectively. Because you can argue all the fine technicalities and so on, but the bottom line is that what we're sitting with now is a very untenable situation, particularly for SARS, because SARS' argument is very solid to say what goes, what are the real issues, what are the dynamics around submission of information. You must remember, we're living in a competitive world and all of that. So your tax matters are very private matters. You must remember there's also things about tax avoidance arrangements and all of that, which are perfectly legal. So all these things are very competitive issues for the business environment. Now, if you are going to have business in South Africa whose tax matters, whose things are just going to be laid to bear, that takes out their competitive advantage and that kills business. So why is it that we have caught, just like this High Court just said yesterday, that doesn't seem to understand this? And also, what we have found is that there is also no consistency in this court. It's the same court, by the way, that had said the CR17 statements are confidential and all of that, and could not be made public. But today, because it's President Zuma, all of a sudden, that which could not be done with the CR17 bank accounts can now be done. The same argument obtains, because even in the CR17 accounts, the particular exclusion that this court has surfaced now to say, no, it can't be a blanket ban. It must be, there's a case for public interest. Surely in the CR17 bank statement, there was a huge public interest there. But then the court said, no, we're not supposed to make those public. So clearly, you've got a very confused judicial system in this country, a very disappointing one. In fact, we would argue as the foundation that the judiciary in this country has plunged constitutional democracy into a crisis.
So you're referring to that 2020 decision by the Constitutional Court between the Public Protector and the SARS Commissioner, where it said the fundamental principle that taxpayer information is confidential is a real pillar insofar as ensuring tax compliance is concerned. I suppose the next question that our viewers will be asking is that if you're saying that there's a lot of confidential information contained in these tax records, there are certain things that are contained in there which are legal, but they are private. The next question would be, if they are legal and they are contained in these tax records, you know, why not open them up as a former president to the kind of scrutiny that amaBhungane and the Financial Mail is asking for?
No, but I think what you must note on the issue is if there is not just legal, the issue is if there's suspicion of maybe any wrongdoing and so on, which case has not been made and so on. So then that argument arises. In this case, we have a situation where we're dealing with the principle here. The principle is that, as articulated by SARS, that the arrangement between SARS and taxpayers is of a confidential nature. It's almost like bank-client relationship. Now, you must look at this, forget that President Zuma is involved. Look at the broader principle, because when this thing does not get successfully challenged, then it means taxpayers are naked. It means as a taxpayer, as you submit your things to SARS, you may as well just publish them in the newspapers, basically. What's the point of confidentiality? This has got serious implication for the credibility of SARS. This has got serious implication to the whole financial reporting, because a lot turns on the confidentiality, because it's not that it's illegal things that are in there that will now be exposed. It's also the creative and competitive ways in which business legitimately avoids tax, not evades, avoids. You must understand the difference. So when you avoid tax, that is a legitimate thing. Now, if you've got all kinds of mathematics that you do there, but now you must make everything public, how you did this, how you did make that public, where is your competitive edge? This has got a very serious and a devastating impact on the confidence on SARS. So we would hope that SARS is going to appeal this case. Let alone President Zuma. SARS itself, for its own integrity, the collection rate of SARS depends on people having confidence that even as a private individual, even if I had nothing to hide,
Mr.
I would
Manyi?
hate to have my tax matters made public.
Yeah. You're saying you're hoping that SARS is going to appeal. Does it mean the foundation will not be getting into the ring on the issue?
At the moment, President Zuma's lawyers are starting the judgment. It will probably be a stronger case if SARS appeals this. Also, it would also mean that the case that SARS had put in the Constitutional Court was a principled case. If SARS does not appeal this, then it would mean that SARS was also playing a game in the Constitutional Court. So in order for us to see that this is not a choreographed event, SARS must appeal this case because it flies at the face of the argument which they put at the Constitutional Court. So therefore, SARS must follow through with that line of thinking. And if it doesn't do that honestly, then we would have problems with SARS.
Yeah, in fact, the High Court in that ruling saying that the public interest actually trumped the issue around privacy as it related to this matter. Mzwanele Manyi, let me thank you for your time this morning. He speaks on behalf of the Jacob Zuma Foundation. Judge Norman Davis in that ruling also saying that sections of the Tax Administration Act and the Promotion of Access to Information Act, which hindered these two groups, amaBhungane and the Financial Mail, in accessing the tax record were unconstitutional, and of course that's something the Constitutional Court itself will have to confirm those findings. So that's a developing story we're tracking for you here on the channel.